Hello, I'm Bruce Goldstein. I am president of Farmworker Justice. Welcome to the 2020 Farmworker Justice National Awards. Each week during Hispanic Heritage Month, we are recognizing people who have helped advance the cause of justice for farm workers, for immigrants, for Latinos, and others in our country who have been disadvantaged. We'll be honoring this year's awardees through a series of 30-minute video presentations that are posted on the Farmworker Justice Facebook page and on the Farmworker Justice YouTube channel. You can see the list of awardees and the schedule and the links to the videos on our website, www.farmworkerjustice.org. And before we begin with our award presentation to Linda Ronstadt, I'd like to tell you about our work very briefly. Founded in 1981, Farmworker Justice is a not-for-profit organization headquartered in Washington, D.C. that was created to help farm workers have a vigorous voice in the nation's capital, to be able to advocate in Congress and federal agencies, and also to have a presence in the courts, to sue government agencies, to sue private employers that are violating the law, and to help farm worker organizations build their capacity to better serve their membership. We also work on corporate social responsibility in the food chain, that is trying to collaborate with retailers and brands and growers and farm workers to bring a greater measure of justice to the food industry and reform the way businesses behave regarding farm workers. So our focuses have been on immigration policy, labor rights, occupational safety, health and access to healthcare, and access to the justice system. These special events this year, done virtually, enable us to raise the critical financial resources that we need to carry on our work. We're a small, impactful organization. We're very dedicated. My colleagues work really hard and really intelligently, and we collaborate with many, many groups around the country to maximize our impact. But even we need financial support to be able to carry out our work. So we especially appreciate the supporters of this award series. They include the California Community Foundation, the United Nurses Associations of California Union of Healthcare Professionals, AARP, and Good Farms. So let's begin. Today we pay tribute to Linda Ronstadt with the Social Justice in the Arts Award. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you.
With deep roots in Tucson, Arizona, Linda Ronstadt is one of the most successful singers of her generation, known for hits including When Will I Be Loved and Blue Bayou. Her career-defining run of 10 top 20 singles include 1975's You're No Good to 1980's Hurt So Bad. One of my favorite songs is Justine from the 1980 album Mad Love. Linda earned a Tony nomination in 1981 for her role as Mabel in The Pirates of Penzance. She then moved on from the country, pop, and rock sounds, recording albums celebrating the Great American Songbook. These were followed by 1987's Canciones de mi Padre, her first album of traditional Mexican mariachi music, which has become the biggest selling recording in Spanish language history. She's won Lifetime Achievement Awards from both the Grammys and the Latin Grammys. Linda was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014. But it's Linda's work in combining the arts with social justice that we are here to recognize. Linda was a leading Mexican-American voice in the fight against SB 1070, the anti-Latino, anti-immigrant legislation in Arizona. She worked extensively with MALDEF, the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Educational Fund, on that campaign. Farmworker Justice has been privileged to work with MALDEF on many projects for many years. I was fortunate to be in the audience in 2008 when Linda spoke at the national conference of the National Council of La Raza, today it's called Unidos U.S., where she gave a moving talk about her Mexican-American cultural background, something that many of us really were not aware of until that time and that new album that came out then. Today, we aim to bring light to Linda's work on the U.S. Mexico border. Linda, you've worked to bring awareness to the deaths of immigrants succumbing to heat, hunger, exhaustion, trying to seek a better life for themselves and their families in the United States, like generations of immigrants before them. Linda, in her own words, said, "To criminalize human kindness is a dangerous precedent. During the hottest, most life-threatening time of the year in the southern Arizona desert, I can think of no more compelling crisis that faces the borderlands, and my view is this: every individual has the right to receive and the right to give humanitarian aid in order to prevent suffering and death, no matter what one's legal status." So, Linda, thank you again for being here today so that we can present you with this award. And I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Can I make a small correction first?
Sure.
I didn't sell the most number of Spanish language records. I sold the most number of a foreign language record.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Competition with some pretty stiff. I'd have some competition from Los Tigres del Norte. It's outsold in every way. They outsell the Rolling Stones.
Well, thank you for that correction, and apologies for that that error. But an impressive record anyway.
Well, thank you.
So you've had a decades-long career in entertainment. When did you first realize that you could use your art as a platform for social justice causes?
Oh, I think it was the No Nukes campaign. We were trying to stop them from building more nuclear power plants and obviously stop nuclear bombs. And we did a lot for that. A lot of good it did us. They're still building nuclear plants, but they're a terrible idea. And people would say to me, I'd say, "What can I do about this problem?" And they'd say, "Well, give your gift." So I would sing.
And that's quite a gift to give. You're renowned for your ability to excel at singing songs in many different genres and styles. What do you do to get inside a song and present it, given that there's so many different kinds of music that you present?
Well, I grew up in a musical household, and there was never not music playing. And people in my family, including my cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents, all played and sang something, not to a professional level, but to a level that they could enjoy themselves and socialize with each other. And I heard a lot of different kinds of music when I was growing up. I heard operetta, I heard opera, I heard country western music. I heard a lot of Mexican music. My dad mostly sang in Spanish. My grandparents sang in Spanish a lot too, although they were opera fans. So I never tried to do anything. I heard rock and roll growing up, but I never tried to do anything that I hadn't heard by the age of 10. Because if I tried to sing anything that I'd learned after the age of 10, it wouldn't be authentic. It wouldn't sound authentic. But I was exposed to so much music that it gave me a big choice.
And did you train to be a singer? Did you have a formal education in music?
A Beach Boys record. I sang along with Brian Wilson. You can do anything if you can sing with Brian Wilson. I listened to Lola Beltran. She was my idol. She was the most influential voice on my own singing style.
What was her name again?
Lola Beltran.
Lola Beltran.
She's sort of the EPP of Mexico. She was the premier ranchera singer.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to her a lot. Chabela Vargas. There's a whole bunch of good women singers that I tried my hardest to copy.
But you brought your own unique talent to it.
Well, everybody copies, and they wind up sounding like themselves. It's so surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to start by copying something.
Mm-hmm. You alluded to your background, but please tell us a little bit more about your childhood and your family and growing up, and also about the Mexican-American culture that you grew up in.
Well, I grew up in the Sonoran Desert, which is a very distinct region and a very distinct culture. It happens to exist like the Tohono O'odham Reservation on both sides of the border. And when we were kids, the border was just an arbitrary thing. We'd drive down across the border to the town of Nogales, and we'd have lunch and go shopping and visit friends. Or we'd go to a baptism or a wedding or a quinceañera, you know, just easily. It was easy to get across the border. It was easy to come back to now it's hours and hours waiting in line at the border. And, you know, my father did business with everybody in northern Mexico. They came up to buy things from his hardware store. He sold tractors and pumps and windmills and all kinds of heavy equipment, hunting equipment, camping equipment, housewares. It was really a great store. And so those relationships who had started with my grandfather was born in Mexico, came to Arizona when it was still a territory. And, you know, Arizona used to be part of Mexico. So the Mexican culture was very consistent throughout those areas, especially the Sonoran Desert culture. So that's what I grew up with. Where, you know, my family had a comal and they made tortillas. My mom made, um, what do you call those things you eat that are made out of corn? I'm losing my words.
Tamales and tacos.
Yeah, we made them as a family. All the girls would get in a row and my mom would grind the corn and we'd take the husk off and cut it off and grind it up and put them in the freezer and we eat them at Christmas time. I always think that your ethnicity should be judged by what you eat for Christmas dinner.
I've had some homemade tamales from Mexican and Mexican American families, and there's nothing quite like it.
It's really different, especially if you grow the corn and it's really fresh, and the sweet white corn makes the kind that you make with sweet beans and sugar. They're really good, and then you make the green corn tamale, the green chili ones that are different out of a different corn.
Mm-hmm. So we talked. I mentioned a little bit about your work. You're trying to help people who are crossing the border. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that work involved?
Well, I was involved with two groups, one called the Keno Border Initiative and another one called No More Deaths. And I didn't do these are volunteers that go down to the border 2 or 3 times a week and deal with the heat and the flies and the freezing cold or whatever there is, and try to help people that are either trapped on the south side of the border, can't get into the country, or have been exterminated, what I'm thinking, deported, and they're just thrown like trash on the other side of the border in one of the most dangerous cities in the world because it's so close to the American border. You know, if you go 15 miles south, you're in peaceful territory, but that's a tough, border towns are a tough place to be. And I went with them several times on a ride along and saw what it was like to deal with people with their feet full of cactus and been lost in the desert walking for days. Some of them were dehydrated, some of them have hypothermia, some of them have heat problems, and try to help them get back to where they came from, get to some other place, try to connect with family members, try to get prescriptions that they were deported without. It's just a whole myriad of problems and people trying to solve them. There was a dentist that they had there that would do pro bono work. So if someone had a toothache, one of the volunteers would drive them to the dentist, try to get his tooth fixed. People's feet were full of cactus and blisters, we'd wash them. You know, it's kind of biblical, but that's what we do. And, you know, there's no place to go to the bathroom. There's no place to get out of the heat. It's just a terrible situation. And now there's so many more. They're in homeless camps on the mud, you know, trying to survive, being separated from their families. That's the
Right.
thing. They're taking children from their parents.
Right. And some of those people, you know, go on to work in the fields, cultivating and harvesting our fruits and vegetables and working on our dairies all over the country.
We can't do without them. They're absolutely essential to the labor force. We won't eat without it. And I dare people sometimes to see what it's like to spend 15 minutes walking in the desert in full heat with no shade from the sun, or working in a field with no shade. It wouldn't last 20 minutes. And it's just brutal work. And it has to go on. These people should be paid 5 times as much.
Yeah. And with voices like yours, and in working collaboration with other organizations, you know, we have proposed legislation in Congress, a heat illness bill, another bill about pesticides and about immigration reform. So with voices like yours raising these issues and identifying the need for solutions for these people who, after all, are human beings just trying to improve their families, hopefully, we'll have greater success. Now that people see, the public and policymakers see during this pandemic, that farm workers truly are essential workers in the sense that without them, we're not going to eat. And people, especially at the beginning part of the pandemic, many people, ordinary middle class and upper class people, had trouble getting food. And I think that it woke some of them up to the realities for the people on the ground who are producing that food.
Well, the other thing that people have to keep in mind is that once you get that legislation through, you have to keep fighting to protect it, because they often will make new legislation, takes the teeth out of the old legislation, and it makes it so that you have no ability to enforce it. And that's the sneaky bad thing. You have to just be, it's like whack-a-mole. You have to watch all the time.
Yes, sometimes I feel like in our advocacy work in Congress and federal agencies, we are beating back really bad proposals that would reverse the modest progress that's been made, more than we're working on the positive things to get done. It's constant. And right now, people can visit our website and see all these pending bills in Congress that are terrible, that people have introduced, and that we've been fighting to stop from being passed. There's also some good stuff up there that we're fighting to support.
Well, I hope that we prevail. It just seems so daunting right now.
It is, and hopefully this is an example of one of those things where people say it goes in cycles. So with that, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you. Let me get some help from a wonderful person who's going to present you with the Social Justice in the Arts Award, Dolores Huerta. Dolores Huerta was a co-founder of the United Farm Workers with Cesar Chavez and others. She's the president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. She's renowned as a brilliant strategist, as an organizer, and she's been active in many causes, feminist causes, civil rights causes, Latino causes, farm worker causes, and continues to this day to be a leader in the nation on social justice. So we're very, very privileged to have Dolores Huerta help us present this award to you. Welcome, Dolores.
Well, thank you very much, Bruce. And it is my honor to present the Social Justice in the Arts Award to our wonderful, our very dear friend, Linda Ronstadt. And Linda, what can I say? You know, marching with you in Arizona against those terrible laws that they were passing against the immigrants. And you have been so generous with your time and always supporting so many organizations that are out there on the front line, including my organization, the Dolores Huerta Foundation. But Linda, your legacy is so great. You know, you grace the world with your voice and all of your music, and you have brought so much dignity, especially to the Latino community. What you have done for us is just priceless. I guess I can say that, use that word, priceless, because as you know, we have been under so much attack, and to know that you're getting this award, it's so deserved. And I am just so honored to even be here in this event with you and with Bruce and all of the great work that the Farmworker Justice Group is doing. So muchas gracias, Linda, for everything that you've done. And, you know, we can't march together anymore, but we can be together in the Zoom world as we are right now.
I'll come in my wheelchair. You always leave me behind in the dust anyway. You can outmarch anyone.
But we can be together in the Zoom world, right? And then we can be reaching out to people. And thank you for always being out there for the poorest of the poor, for the farm workers, for the immigrants, and for all of those people that need your help, Linda. You are a treasure. You are a treasure. And I want to thank Farmworker Justice for recognizing you and giving you this very, very special award. Te queremos mucho, Linda. We love you so much. You've shown us that, and you continue to be out there, continue to be out there and lending your voice to all of our justice, social justice causes. Muchas gracias and thank you. We love you. Si se puede con Linda Ronstadt. All right.
Thank you so much, Dolores. I'm humbled and honored to be in your presence. You are my favorite woman. Whenever anybody asks me my favorite woman, I will say Dolores Huerta. And you're the one that showed up time after time after time.
Thank
I
you.
just good. So you're the one that we should thank.
Thank you so much.
Well, Linda, again, thank you very much for participating with us. We really feel that you deserve this award, and it's our honor to present it to you.
Thank you.
So this concludes this presentation of the Farmworker Justice Awards. We have several other awardees this month, and the videos are posted on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. You can see the schedule and the awardees on our website. The Farmworker Justice website has a wealth of information about farm workers, about the policy issues that we work on, about the solutions that we work on, materials that help farm worker organizations work with farm workers to improve their health and safety and help them advocate for themselves in their communities and in Congress and in agencies. We can't do this work without your support. The financial support that you make to Farmworker Justice enables us to carry on our work, and we hope you will continue to support Farmworker Justice. We have a few links, we have a few initiatives. We have face masks, the Farmworker Justice face mask during the pandemic. We have an online auction. We hope you'll visit our website and our social media platforms and keep visiting us to see what's up and support the cause of farm workers. Everybody, thank you for being with us. Be safe. Thank you. Bye.